Good morning, Canada. So this is the panel all the way coming from India to just give you a glimpse of what's happening in India with respect to the cybersecurity. And for today, I'm going to be the moderator for the panel. And very quickly about me, I'm Sailaja Vadlamudi, and I'm the founder for WiSP, which is Women in Cybersecurity and Privacy. Currently, I'm working for a huge international company heading data privacy and security with teams spread across the globe, and I'm handling close to 3,000 people on several topics from time to time. And so today I'm very glad and honored, and from at least not for the cyberX platform, but also from the WiSP community, we are just truly blessed to have the most influential and the motivators coming out all the way from Bangalore, coming all the way from India to give you all the insights onto this. And with this, I just quickly introduce, and then I also give it back to my panel to give a quick intro about them. So we have our dear Chowdary Garu, who is also termed as the father and the cornerstone for IT, at least in the southern states, which we know we all have grown up seeing him laying the foundations for all the pillars, because of which we are reaping all the fruits for today. And then the next is Bhargavi Sunkara Garu, who is also one of the most influential dynamic women whom I also know personally, and also our dear Satish Garu, who is also the master of all in security and data privacy, and someone who always to look up to and to go for. And also my dear friend, and also the lady legend of Hyderabad, Hima. And then I just quickly pass on to you so that you can also quickly give in a quick crisp intro about yourself, and then we get into the panel now. Yeah, maybe Bhargavi, you can.
Thank you, Sailaja. I think it's a very good initiative, what you have done. Definitely, I'll be more than happy to participate in today's panel. And particularly now with the COVID happening and working from home with a lot of cybersecurity issues, is the right time to have this kind of cybersecurity related panel. So my name is Jay Chowdary. I'm the present chairman for the Blockchain Standards Committee. And I used to be the founder of Software Technology Parks of India, Bangalore, Hyderabad, Chennai. These three cities is the one who started the software industry promotion, and whatever the growth you have seen, I participated in that growth plan. I'll be more than happy to mentor the startups, and my current passion is to how India can create more startups in the emerging technologies. That's where I'm trying to mentor a lot of startups. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Maybe, yeah, Satish, you can go next.
Yeah, hi all. Thanks for having me here. Thanks, Sailaja. In fact, myself, Satish Kumar Dwibhashi. I work as a senior vice president and a CISO for a fintech company in Bangalore. That's the Silicon Valley of India. I'm also the ISACA president. That's more of volunteering, honorary, what we do in the context of coaching, mentoring, and in fact, building young professionals into cybersecurity. That's about myself. So thanks, Sailaja, for having me here.
Yeah, maybe Bhargavi. Yeah.
Hi, my name is Bhargavi Sunkara, and I have been in application development all my career, which is close to 26 years, and currently CIO for corporate technology in BNY Mellon. And although I'm currently based out of India, like my experience has been mostly global with large multinationals. In terms of security, I would come more under application security. I've done some hacking and vulnerability testing as part of healthcare insurance, HIPAA, privacy and security audits. But other than that, it's been mostly around threat modeling, design, application security, and various facets that come underneath that. And we'll talk more about it, right? So in that context, I'm representing in this panel, and thank you for the opportunity.
Yeah, thank you. Hima.
Thank you, Bhargavi. Thank you, Sailaja. So myself, I'm an engineer by profession. leading NCASE, which is gold standards in digital forensics, e-discovery and security BU in an MNC. And also I'm a social volunteer by choice. In the interest of time, I think we would start with the questions because we have very less time, right? So, yeah, and I would like to thank all our esteemed panelists, J. Chowdary Garu, Bhargavi Garu, Satish Garu, who are like most influential people in security from India, for having coming for CyberX and representing WISP during this midnight. Thank you so much from bottom of our hearts.
Yeah. So thank you all for the very crisp and very informative introductions about all of you. And maybe I just would like to start my first question with Bhargavi, because since she mentioned on application security, where I also started my career working on application security. And Bhargavi, when you see, for example, you started your career 26 years ago, but if you look at us, we just started recently and we are still sailing through all sort of waves. And how is it different 10 years ago, and if you compare it from today's era with respect to the security posture in organizations and the awareness in the organizations?
So there are a few things that play a role in determining both security and privacy needs. So first and foremost is what are you exposing yourself to? What kind of vulnerabilities are you protecting yourself against? The second aspect is how much are you willing to spend? And then third aspect is what are you obligated towards? So let's touch upon each one of them, right? So when we talk about 26 years back, like if you had a solution or system within the CorpNet, mostly it wasn't exposed to external traffic. And it wasn't as pervasive, even the internet and access to internet and various channels through which people used to access the information. Like, you never had mobile the way we have it right now. And the data, access to data and what you can do with that data, those kind of aspects were not there. Regulations have been significantly changing. For instance, this was okay at one point to not have to ask people for permission to store information. But now you have to explicitly ask if they're okay and to what degree are they okay and how much can you retain and for what purposes are you saving. So there are so many parameters, and that's one part. Then the second part, this dynamic of where does your work begin and where does it end. So with that, every place that you are in and that you can leave your information available to people, every one of those puts you at risk. So going back to application design, right? So early on, at most, you only thought about authentication. And it was good enough if you had authentication, and you never imagined that somebody could directly attack database and so on and so forth. So in fact, even when we were designing, so we would think like, okay, is it web facing application or not? And all of that has significantly changed now. And the cost of building a security model also has been coming down. And, while it was mostly for few people who were pranksters that used to get into trying to hack your system, now it is like people do it as a full-time profession. So in that sense, layered security is very, very essential. And multi-factor authentication is a given now. And then within the layered security, the reason for having those layers, like be it transportation layer security or data encryption or salting and peppering techniques for password and the password rules and so on and so forth, and data encryption, tokenization, all of these have been put in place so as to, if a hacker was to try and get in, you will know before, because by the time they try to break through all the walls, you have a way to stop it. And the most important thing that I would like to call out, and I used to teach this at Amazon when I was working in Amazon. I used to teach a course called Secure Development, and we used to talk about this aspect that security ownership lies with everyone. It's not like a CISO's job. It's not like only the security auditor's job. It is
Yeah.
every developer, every tester, right? So
Yeah,
that's
that's
another
true. Yeah,
important facet.
thank you for summing it up, stating security is everybody's job. And I also have a 6-year-old at home. From time to time, whenever I make my presentations, he also reviews my slides. And one day I just put security is everybody's job. He just came and said, Mama, can you also add data privacy as well? Because nowadays, data privacy is also rising up. And he said security and data privacy is not just the CISO's job or the director's job, but everybody's job. Thank you for that. And Satish, would you like to also throw some light on this? How is that when you started your career? For sure, you're in the fintech industry, and there you have to have all these regulations in place, compliance in place. But how is that when you started your career, and how is that it is it in India at the moment? For example, when you take it in the context of India, how do that people see it?
Yeah, so adding back to what Bhargavi said, in fact, if you go back to, I started my days 30 years back with a mainframe system or a typical go back to those old SCO Unix and Unix systems, right, which was more like a glass door where specifically inside a room or inside a perimeter. Now, as Bhargavi said, in fact, today, of course, the whole world is changing, and whether it's banking or whether it's any consumer application, the mobile app and the web-based interfaces, right? I think that's the challenge which today every enterprise, right? Because one side you have to definitely provide that level of experience to the users, right? Expose it to the internet and mobile, and we call it as multi-channel, right? So we have to enable all these multi-channels and equally ensure that we stay secure, right? I think as Bhargavi rightly said that, so I put it this way, the bad guys are far ahead than us, and in fact, a lighter note, they collaborate well and we collaborate less. And I think that's where is the whole challenge. In fact, industry is moving at a very rapid pace, and it's always a catch-up game. By the time you catch up, what are the tactics, what they really get in, I think by the time they move much ahead than the curve. So it's very interesting times. While of course the older days, the COBOL days were very different, but today with the API world, and as you said, the fintech is of course a lot of technology adoption. API, it's an API world today. If you look at your whole UPI APIs, it's an API world. Very interesting times. But yes, having said that, I'm very optimistic that we can definitely solve every problem. Of course, it's all matter of understanding how the adversary is, and trying to ensure that you secure each of the layer and ensure that our mission objectives are met.
Yeah. So thank you for throwing the spotlight. Like the bad guys are much more stronger and more collaborated than the builders. The bakers are more stronger. I cannot agree more than that. And then now coming back to Jaya Chowdary, because since you had a lot of experience working in the governments, with all these issues rising up and also creating a lot of importance for the business to have a right security posture, do you also see the opportunities for the cyber opportunities in India at the moment?
Sailaja, yes, I am very optimistic as far as opportunities for the startups in India. Particularly, India is going digital. All the banks, insurance companies, they're going heavily into digital. And of course, the COVID is making fast forwarding all those actions, which most of these companies and the governments were planning to go digital earlier. But now, thanks to COVID, that's really helping the digital to happen in a big way. Today, what I see is our honorable Prime Minister when he set up a task force for cybersecurity, he wanted to make India as the cybersecurity hub, global hub. What do you mean by global hub? Because he wants to create opportunities. India itself is throwing lots of opportunities, particularly security. Nobody wants to compromise using XYZ technologies from XYZ countries, because security is one issue where they want to look at the locally built product, locally built services, because they do not want to use some external kind of a product. So that's the one which is giving a lot of opportunities, going to give a lot of opportunities for the startups. In fact, if you see, few years back, there were only few startups in cybersecurity. Today, there are more than 200 startups already doing very well. They're globally known. And, and it is expected by 2025, these startups will cross 1,000 startups, and they're going to create more than 1 million jobs, and a lot of opportunities are going to be there. And Government of India recently, under the Made in India products, they removed all the restrictions. Earlier, if there any government tender, only big companies with a lot of track record, they were qualified to participate in these tenders. Now, any startups, they can also participate in these tenders, and through hackathon process, they're able to select. And Government of India has created a portal called GEM portal. Suppose if I have got a product, if I can enroll my product in the GEM portal, any state government, any government agency, instead of going through the tendering process, they can actually go through this GEM portal, which is already registered. And those kind of opportunities are opening up in India. I think it's going to be a great opportunity for startups, particularly Indian startups in cybersecurity.
Yeah, thank you for sharing your insights. And now this is to Hima. We have been reading day in and day out with COVID-19. There are a lot of compromises. There are a lot of ransoms. There are a lot of phishing attacks. Because today I also learned the phishing attacks have gone by 600 to 700% because of the COVID. And Hima, in the midst of all of these situations, how do you? What are the ways and means to attract this talents, this upcoming talents into this cyber domains?
That's a great question, Sailaja. So COVID-19, right, as mentioned by my fellow panelists, Bhargavi and Satish, it has actually, the adversary, the cyber attackers, they took it as an opportunity, right? So Satish mentioned that the bad guys collaborate well, right? So, so they if we look at the news, right, from last 3 months, cyber attack, that metrics has gone really like 300% up. And recently, for a New York, a large law firm in New York City, it has been the data for all A-list celebrities. It has been compromised. The attack is ransom attack, and they're not able to get the data, right? So and also we have seen one of the MNC that we all know, they were attacked by mails attack that costed them billions of dollars amount, right? So these things are there. So it's always important to be proactive than reactive. So through WISP, actually, as you know, Sailaja, we are already trying to bring a lot of awareness on this phishing and ransom attacks, especially what is a fake news, what is the real news, and not to click on any of the links. That is the last thing that ever any professional or anybody want to do it, right? So so that we don't become a victim of the social engineering attack, right? So that's one aspect. And the other part of your question is, this actually created a number of opportunities for the cybersecurity professionals. So as we all know, some companies started layoffs in US and India, but on the other side of the coin, because of the COVID, it has created large number of opportunities for cybersecurity professionals because of this attack, right? So this adversary is an opportunity for the professionals, right? As per the cybersecurity magazine, by 2021, there are like 3.5 million approximately cybersecurity opportunities that needs to be filled. So that gives us huge demand into this field, opens doors for multiple of opportunities.
And Satish, would you also like to add, like, what are the ways and means to attract more and more, young talent or that is going to be out of the universities to get into these domains? Since you're also holding this, the ISACA one from the ISACA presidentship from Bangalore, so maybe you can just throw some light on that.
Yeah, absolutely. In fact, Hima took a very nice point about how cybersecurity is going to be one of the important, in fact, opportunity for many people. I normally put it this way: uh, even in recession, cybersecurity is the only domain, right? It's called recession-proof domain. Like there is no recession for cybersecurity because uh, means Java may come, .NET may go, Perl may come, Python may go, but cybersecurity will remain. Regulations will remain, and I think that is the real opportunity. In fact, where as we experienced professionals should really encourage all these young talent. In fact. That's what I love to do. In fact, I like to mentor, coach. I really spend a lot of my time in ensuring that these young guys who are coming out of college, so predominantly, uh, so there has been a lot of change also. In fact, earlier the traditional careers were more of a developer or a tester, but today I see a lot of young guys also getting into this domain because of various, of course, there are certifications, there are a lot of body of knowledge available today, and there's a lot of interest in this domain now, and there are a lot of jobs also, as Hima said. In fact,
Yeah.
there's a huge I can say shortage of skills, especially in fact the right skills for these guys who really getting into this domain. And as I said, see, it's not only, and if you look at the COVID situation today, the way we have really opened up, in fact many organizations were never prepared for work from home. And as I think Mr. Chowdary said, in fact, COVID has initiated the digital transformation. In fact, not anyone else. COVID has really transformed many organizations, the digital transformation, enabling people to work from home. So that also opens up a lot of security threats, especially people working from home, and many organizations do not have the right controls in place. I think so. In that context, there's a huge opportunity for guys, especially to get into this domain. So I'm very optimistic.
Yeah.
Cybersecurity is one of the key domain for people to get into this.
Yeah, and now I would like to just go to Bhargavi on this. And for sure, we all know there are a lot of opportunities. There are billions of opportunities. And also thank to our dear Prime Minister Ji Narendra Modi, who is also really encouraging startups on this domain. And we also see a lot of spike. But we definitely know there's a pure gender gap in this cyber security domain. So women representation in this field is really less. And how do we encourage more and more women to get into this? Maybe you can just throw some light on this, Bhargavi. Yeah.
I think when you think of security, you also think of somebody who's not adhering to the norms. There is this cult kind of feeling, right? There's this goofiness around it. You kind of tend to put it as mean guys or bad guys doing it. You don't think of it as nice thing. I think that's where probably that sentiment was like guys, or, I have had so many university interactions, and usually the boys seem to be more excited about security. They want to hack, they want to learn ethical hacking. Whereas you don't come across as many girls getting excited about it. So I think it's more of that bias also. But I mean, if you think of it as a defense mechanism and you're trying to protect the organization assets, and flip it in that scenario, and how your knowledge is going to help yourself and your enterprise, I think there'll be more people excited about it. So that's one aspect, and it's just bringing the awareness that no matter what, everyone else said, this is one field that's always going to be important, because it's everybody's business, like I said. So
yeah, and thanks for that. And now I would like to come to Jay Chowdary on this, because since he's the Pitamaha for IT in the southern states. So what is your view on this? How are women represented earlier versus now? We have a lot of domains like cybersecurity and many things. And how do women see it? And how do you see the shift, like from the earlier times and to now?
Sailaja, actually, this COVID is really helping a lot of women professionals because I see why women professionals they are not growing much in the any business for that matter, because of various personal reasons, family reasons, and all that. But the working from home, this a concept is going to really help a lot of women professionals working from home. They can take care of their family responsibilities. They can also, particularly security kind of this thing, you can I mean, help any company securing their operations. I mean, whether you are in your home or you are in the office, as long as you are all in a secure environment, you can provide those services. I think the great opportunity, what I see, the COVID has pushed the good number of opportunities for the women professionals to grow up in the organization, also do very well. And particularly security, this is a mindset that this thing, women professionals may be more secure if you employ more women security professionals in the organization. That's kind of a mindset is there. I think definitely there's going to be many good opportunities for women professionals, particularly in the cybersecurity space. I wish them all the
Yeah, thank you for that, and thank you for all the trust and entrusting on the women folks for securing the organizations and the intra, not just only the home. And Hima, would you like to add anything over here?
Yeah, sure. So being woman in security, Sailaja, as you know, right, the a goal of the forum that we started, right, when we both discussed initially, we met, right? So basically, as it is mentioned by Bhargavi, right? So it is, there is a huge gender gap, and we see women as very rare, and there is that bias thing, right? So it's only a men field, or like we are not into like because when we went to launch WISP for Bimbaram, when I'm taking a session on cybersecurity, there is a woman, she's very passionate, she's talking about GDPR and all. And I kind of asked her, how do you know at this first year BTech, how do you know? So she's very passionate. She started learning cybersecurity since 8th standard. But in her family, they are like, no, this should not be your field. You should not be an hardware engineer, or you should not go to the cybersecurity. There are so they are always asking her to learn C or C++, right? So I think that is a cultural thing. That shift need to be there. That is what we are trying to build, trying to encourage voluntarily through forums and user groups. Using WISP, we are taking virtual sessions to a lot of college students and who are interested.
I think, Hima, let me jump in here. This panel is a kind of a indication, because your ratio is much higher than only me and Satish are there in the panel. I think this is the trend which is going to happen, particularly in the cybersecurity space.
So thanks, Chowdary, for giving me company. I'm happy that I have some company with.
And I just also want to touch upon some other things like developing, and India is also coming up with, for example, I'm also associated with NASCOM, and various things like future skills or something is what they're already working on. And Satish, with your experience, are there any other means and ways? Yes, for sure, we have communities, we have many activities going on. And we also, like people like us who are also focusing on not only in the cities but also in the rural areas. But do you see what other ways and means to bring in more guys? Because for sure we also have a lot of gap in this particular domain, and we also need, irrespective of a woman or a man, we need more people to be into this. So what is your view on this?
Yeah, absolutely, Sailaja. In fact, a lot of like a group like yours, like I think there are a lot of informal, in fact, groups which have started. In fact, leaving the big ones, like of course NASCOM is doing a great job in upskilling and reskilling people. ISACA, ISC Square. I'm sure many of you know this platform called Null, right? Null. If you go to the every Null conference, you will find more female enthusiasts. In fact, in getting into this hacking, and I see a lot of, in fact, traction in this domain. So there are a lot of informal groups also, like OSP does. OSP is there, Null is there. There are plenty of bodies today who encourage not only young, of course, all gender. In fact, I see suddenly there is a lot of interest in, especially as you said, Bhargavi said, in fact, in application security, in fact, in ethical hacking and pen testing. I see a huge, in fact, and there's so much of information out there and so much of forums out there, in fact, doing a lot of great work, including yours. I think more and more all this will definitely make people much comfortable to in fact get into this domain. And no doubt, as they move up the ladder, of course, the larger bodies like ISACA, and IAPP, and all those play a very important role in fact ensuring that there's a good collaboration and there's a good knowledge sharing happening across the domains.
Yeah, maybe one just last word I just want to ask Jay Chowdary before we end this panel. So we're almost towards the end to give in crisp one from the Cyber India team. Yeah.
Sailaja, it's a great effort by you and your team to have this kind of a panel, particularly in the cybersecurity area. So I request you and your team to continuously put this effort going on, because today the biggest problem in India, particularly cybersecurity point of view, there's a lot of awareness is not there, particularly in the rural areas. A lot of innocent people are getting hacked by some people outside the country. They don't have any recourse what to do and all that. I think we need to have more and more regional web conferences involving the local people. I think there's a lot of it we need to do. And I am with you. And if you want ISACA also to get involved to bring this kind of awareness, how to protect their digital assets, how to protect their money in the bank, because of the Jandan program of our Honorable Prime Minister, many millions of unbanked. Today they have not only bank account, they operate a mobile bank account. Yeah. If anybody hacker sends a message, interesting message, they open that link and they get victim to those kind of risky. Many people are losing a lot of money. It's still not known to the public, but if it continues in the same fashion, there will be many suicide deaths from the innocent people because of the cyber hacking. I think we need to do a lot in this area, and I request you and ISACA team to work on it. I am with you to take this forward.
Yeah. Thank you for summing it up, and we cannot agree more, because the real reason and passion behind starting WISP is also something we want to focus in rural areas. More than the domain, but we also want to save some lives, because whenever we go, we just keep telling girls, we are human, we tend to do some mistakes, but you don't have to become the prey and you don't have to become the cyber victims. And from time to time, some girls come to us and they share their experiences, and we also assure them, just drop us a message on LinkedIn or Twitter. We have different accounts from WISP, and we will definitely be able to sort it out and help them, because life is more precious than anything else. So with this, I would like to just end this panel and thank you all once again for joining at the odd hour. It is already 1 a.m. in India. And
thanks,
once
Bhargavi, for answering all the questions. In fact, she answered all the questions. Shooted for everyone. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Good
Thank
job,
you.
Sailaja. You are doing a great job.
Yeah, thank you all, and have a good sleep now. Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank